Okay, so in honor of May the 4th, May the 4th be with you, we have a guest appearance reading by none other than, no, just kidding. Can't read with that on. We have a little porg here. We have the boys' alarm clock, which is Yoda. We have a R2D2, little robot thingamajig. Darth Vader, Kylo Ren. So we left off um, part one of chapter 4. We left it like, is Sheila gonna babysit or not? Okay, so let's find out what happens. So the difference is she's bigger. It ended. My mother hesitated. I don't know, she said. I've never left Fudge before. She looked at me. Peter, what? Will you and Jimmy help Sheila watch Fudge while I run home for a minute? Oh, Mom, do we have to? Please, Peter, I'll be right back. I'll feel better if all three of you are watching him. What do you say? I asked Jimmy. Sure, I answered. Why not? But I'm in charge of Fudgy, aren't I? Sheila asked my mother. Well, I guess so, my mother said to Sheila. You probably do know more about babysitting. Why don't you all take Fudge over to the playground? Then I'll know where to find you. Swell, Mrs. Hatcher, Sheila said. Don't you worry. Fudgy will be just fine. My mother turned to Fudge. Now you be a good boy for 10 minutes. Mommy will be right back. Okay? Good boy, Fudge said. Good, good, good. As soon as my mother was gone, Fudge took off. You can't catch me, he hollered. Can't catch Fudgy. Go get him, Sheila, I said. You're in charge, remember? Me and Jimmy horsed around a while Sheila ran after Fudge. When she caught him, we decided we'd better go to the playground, like my mother said. It was a lot easier to keep an eye on him in a smaller place. Anyway, Fudge likes to climb on the jungle gym, and that way, he can't get lost. As soon as we got to the playground, Sheila started chasing me. Peter's got the cooties! Peter's got the cooties! She yelled. Cut that out, I said. So she chased Jimmy. Jimmy's got the cooties! Jimmy got the cooties! Me and Jimmy decided to fight back. So what if she's a girl? She started it. We grabbed her by the arms. She squirmed and tried to get away from us, but we wouldn't let go. We hollered really loud, Sheila's got the cooties, Sheila's got the cooties. All three of us were so busy fooling around that we didn't notice Fudge up on the jungle gym until he called, Pita, Pita. That's how he says my name. What? I asked. See? See? Fudge flapped his arms around. Fudgy's a birdie. Fudgy's a birdie. Fly, birdie. Fly. That crazy kid, I thought, ran to the jungle gym with Jimmy and Sheila right behind me. But it was too late. Fudge already found out he didn't have wings. He fell to the ground. He was screaming and crying, and his face was a mess of blood. I couldn't even tell where the blood was coming from at first. Then Jimmy handed me his handkerchief. I don't know how to clean it. Clean it was, but it was better than nothing. I mopped some blood off Fudge's face. Sheila cried. It wasn't my fault, honest, it wasn't. Oh, shut up, I told her. He's really a mess, Jimmy said, inspecting Fudge. And his teeth are gone too. What are you talking about? I asked Jimmy. Well, look in his mouth, Jimmy said. Now, while he's screaming. See? He's got a big space where he used to have his front teeth. Oh no, Sheila screamed. He's right. Fudgy's teeth are gone. Fudge stopped crying for a minute. All gone? He asked. Open your mouth wide, I said. He did, and I looked in. It was true. His top two front teeth were missing. My mother's going to kill you, Sheila, I said. Was I glad I wasn't left in charge of my brother? Sheila cried louder. But it was an accident. He did it himself. Himself. You better find his teeth, I said. Where should I look? Sheila asked. On the ground, stupid. Sheila crawled around looking for Fudge's teeth while I tried to clean up some more. Some more. See? Fudge said, showing me all his wounds. Boo boo here and here, more boo boo here. His knees and elbows were all scraped up. I'm going to tell your mother. I'm going to get your mother, Jimmy hollered, running out of the playground. Good idea, I called. I just can't find him, Sheila said. Well, keep looking, I yelled. Honestly, Peter, there aren't any teeth here. All gone? Fudge asked again. Not all, I told him, just two. Fudge started to scream. Want my teeth! Want my teeth! Jimmy must have met my mother on her way back to the park because it only took about 2 minutes for her to get there. By the time a whole crowd of kids had gathered around us, most of them were crawling on the ground like Sheila, looking for Fudge's teeth. My mother picked up Fudge. Oh, my baby, my precious little love. She kissed him all over. Show mommy where it hurts. Fudge showed her all his boo-boos. Then he said, all gone. What's all gone? My mother asked. His top two front teeth, I said. Oh no, my mother cried. Oh, my poor little angel. Sheila sniffled and said, I just can't find them, Mrs. Hatcher. I've looked everywhere, but Fudge's teeth are gone. He must have swallowed them, my mother said, looking into Fudge's mouth. Oh, Mrs. Hatcher, how awful. I'm sorry. I'm really very sorry. Sheila cried. What will happen to him? He'll be all right, Sheila, my mother said. I'm sure it was an accident. Nobody's blaming you. Sheila started bawling again. My mother said, let's go home. I thought my mother was being pretty easy on Sheila. After all, she was left in charge. When we got home, Mom washed Fudge's cuts and scrapes with peroxide. And then she called Dr. Cohn. He told her to take Fudge to our dentist. So my mother called Dr. Brown's office and made an appointment for the next day. When that was done, she gave Fudge some socks to play with. I went into the kitchen to have a glass of juice. My mother called me. Peter Warren Hatcher, she said. I'm sorry that I can't trust you for just 10 minutes. Me? I asked. Trust me? What's this got to do with me? My mother raised her voice. I left your brother with you for 10 minutes, and just look at what happened. I'm disgusted with you. It was Sheila's fault, I said. You said Sheila was in charge, so how come you're mad at me and not Sheila? I just am, my mother shouted. I ran to my room and slammed the door. I watched Dribble walk around on his favorite rock. My mother's the meanest mother in the whole world, I told my turtle. She loves Fudge more than me. She doesn't even love me anymore. She doesn't even like me. Maybe I'm not her real son. Maybe somebody left me in a basket on her doorstep. My real mother's probably a beautiful princess. I'll bet she'd like to have me back. Nobody needs me around here. That's for sure. I didn't eat supper that night, and I had a lot of trouble falling asleep. The next morning, my mother came into my room and sat down on my bed. I didn't look at her. Peter, she said. I didn't answer. Peter, I said some things yesterday that I didn't really mean. I looked at her. Honest? I asked. Yes. You see, I was very upset over Fudge's accident and I had to blame somebody, so I picked on you. Yes, I said. You sure did. It wasn't your fault though. I know that. It was an accident. It could have happened even if I had been in the playground myself. He wanted to fly, I said. He thought he was a bird. I don't think he'll try to fly again, my mother said. Me neither, I told her. Then we both laughed, and I knew she was my real mother after all. Okay, next up, chapter 5 is called The Birthday Bash. Okay, the birthday bash. So here are the questions for tomorrow. Chapter 4, questions part 2. What happened at the park in this chapter that leads Jimmy to go find Mrs. Hatcher? Number 2, why did Peter say, my mother is the meanest mother in the whole world? Number 3, if you were Peter's mother, would you have reacted like she did about Fudge's accident? Why or why not? And the last one is, what do you think happened to Fudge's teeth? Okay. Now, what I would like you guys to do is go to Clever, sign into Clever. Make sure it says LAUSD up there. Now, once you are on Clever, you go to the Sarah's Champions and go to Google Classroom. Right, it's a little chalkboard. Go to Google Classroom. All the apps are here. Okay, go to Google Classroom and sign in. Same password. Do it right. And once you're here, I added something. It's called multiplication facts tables, and it's under Google Slides. Okay, it's just to help you out. It's just a multiplication table. I know we would do the squares in classroom. Remember, we used to make squares and just fill in the blanks for practice. You can do the same thing here. So, for example, 8 times 5 is 40. Here's 40. So you have to click on it and you make sure it look. And when you have the little 4 arrows, you're able to move it around. So 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, and you drop it and you leave it. Okay, now right now, look right here. It says all changes saved in Drive. So whenever you place it, it's going to save it. Okay, this is your Google Drive. So for example, I'm going to move one right now, but I want you to look up here when I let go. Okay, all changes. So I'm going to go 3 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, remember, look up there where it says all changes saved. So 3 times 5, I'm going to let it go and look up there. Saving, all changes saved. So once you drop it, it'll save it. So when you log out, like, oh, okay, I'm going to take a little break. When you log out, it'll still be there. Okay, now if you guys have a printer, you can go to File and scroll down. You're able to print this as well, so that you'll have a sheet. Now that's the drag and drop. Now this one, you have to fill in the blanks. So we'll do the same one. 8 times 5, 8 times 5. Click on it, 40. Okay, now it doesn't tell you if it's wrong or if it's right. Okay, you're gonna have to check that. Okay, so I want you guys to try that out, and that's on Google Classroom through Clever. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye. Well, one last time.